So investing in mutual funds, we must understand what benefit does it give you. One is there's a flexibility of investment tenure. You can do it for 3 months, you can do it for 3 years, you can do it for 30 years, depending on what is the time horizon or what is the kind of return which you're looking for. It's very convenient and hassle-free. With minimal, I actually say with zero paperwork. Nowadays, if you need to open an account for investment in mutual fund, you can do it sitting at home only. If somebody goes for systematic investment plans, there's a lot of power of compounding which happens. That means your corpus will start growing at its own, without you making any additional efforts. It manages inflation very well. There are a lot of taxation benefits available. It is safe, though it is subject to market risk. There's a SEBI guideline that anyone who talks about mutual fund, he has to keep on educating people that it is subject to market risk. So yes, it is subject to market risk, but then it is very transparent. There are a lot of efforts by SEBI and all the regulatory bodies to ensure that the transaction in mutual fund remains safe and transparent. There are two ways of investing in mutual funds, which we will be talking about. One is a lump sum investment, which are basically for the people who have retired and got a lot of corpus with them, so that they can follow a systematic withdrawal plan. I'll explain it in the next slides or so. And in fact, I would be dwelling upon it a little more in the next slide. Second is systematic investment plan. It is primarily for those who are planning for retirement, who still have got some time to retire. Somebody may have 10 years to go, somebody may have 5 years to go. And when I say systematic investment plan, I am not talking about a 5,000 per month SIP. No, it can be a 5 lakh per month SIP as well. Suppose somebody has got 5 years to go, and he's got a lot of FDs and the provident fund and all those money. Instead of waiting for that to be accumulated after 5 years and then withdraw, the wise thing would be that start withdrawing, and then every year start putting it in a systematic manner into mutual funds to take advantage of the fluctuations of the market. So having talked about systematic withdrawal plan, which I also call as a regular income plan. It is systematic withdrawal plan is what? Every year, every month you get some regular income. I think we all understand it, but I'll just, for those who do not understand it, so it's a facility in mutual funds wherein you invest in lump sum amount and start getting fixed monthly income on a pre-decided date. Whichever date you decide, whatever be the amount you decide, as per that amount, every month those many mutual fund units will get redeemed and the amount will get credited to your nominated bank account without any hassle. Once one instruction is given, you've invested say 1.5 crores. Now you say ki next month onwards, I need 1 lakh rupees on the first of the month in my bank account. It will automatically happen. There's nothing which needs to be changed. So what happens is then most of the people who are retiring, they generally take this route advantage for whatever be the loss of salary, which I will just cover here. Say this I have prepared is keeping a retired Fauji officer in mind. The loss of income or the reduction in monthly income is generally around 1,25,000 rupees for those who retire with pension, and 1.4, 1.5 CR is the amount which is available for investment after catering for various other expenditure. I mean, it may vary from individual to individual, but generally this is the common figure. And I take a annual return of 14%. Some of knowledgeable people may think that I am trying to peg it higher. There's a reason I will tell you in subsequent slides. So at the rate of 14% return, this is how the table will look at it. At the end of 5 years, at the rate of 1,25,000 rupees per month, person will be able to draw 75 lakh rupees, and the corpus would be available to him around 1.64 CR is around 1.17 times of whatever he had invested earlier. At the end of 10 years, amount withdrawn would be 1.5 CR and corpus available would be around 2 crore, 2.10 CR, that is 1.5 times. And the end of 25 years, why I put it as 25 years is taking 60 as retirement age, 85 is the age which I'm looking at. By the end of 25 years, 3.75 CR one would have taken, and available corpus would be around 8 CR. Herein, I have not catered for inflation. That is, if somebody is requiring 1.25 lakhs per month now, maybe 10 years down the line, he may require 1.5 lakh per month, or 20 years down the line, he may require 3 lakhs per month. Even then, if we cater for those inflations also, I have not done it because there are a lot of permutation combinations available in that scenario. Even then, the availability of coppers would be much more than what he is having today. That is the basic advice. And why so is it happening is because you are taking out the small chunk of your, the total money, and this is where your returns are getting compounded. Whatever long-term funds you are having, they are generating income year after year for you. So having said that, by 14%, you must understand that mutual fund returns, I mean, there's nobody who can say or who can guarantee you a return in mutual fund. There are mutual funds which have given you 100% also. 125% was the, I think, highest. And they are which are around 8, 9, 10, 12% also. But then how do I calculate as 14% is that industry is growing. There's two aspects. One is inflation. There's whether you call it wholesale price index and food inflation, whatever. There's an inflation which is there as part of the system. It will happen. Plus there's a GDP which is growing. That is your production activities, your transaction activities within the country is growing. So for me, the sum total of these two, because if the industry is working, they are generating some profit, right? And they are generating profit over and above the inflation figure. So that is what should be the average income of a mutual fund, which is able to provide you good investment returns. So average inflation is 6 to 7%. Average GDP growth is 7 to 8%. So as per me, the average mutual fund return should be 14 to 16%. Okay. Somebody may say 6 plus 7 is only 13. Why are you saying 14? This is where that alpha of 1 to 2% comes into play by those who are advising or who are deciding where the investment should go. So that is why I say mutual fund sahi hai, because you keep getting your return at a rate of 14%. You must get that much. If your funds are not performing to that, there's some rethinking needs to be done, some rebalancing needs to be done. There are a lot of factors which influence income level. I said it initially that we'll touch upon it. I will just enumerate some of them. One is expertise, knowledge. If I do not know about a particular investment class, how to go about it, how do I ensure my risks are hedged, maybe my income level may not be as good comparing to somebody who already knows about it. Second is location. This is with reference to the physical assets or the real estate which we talk about. Just because somebody has invested in Gurgaon and has earned maybe 30 times or 40 times or 50 times or 100 times or whatever investment in say 20 years period, it is not necessary that if the same amount is invested in a place called Muzaffarnagar, I belong to Muzaffarnagar, that's why I'm saying so, will yield me that much return. So the location of physical assets is very important. Duration is also equally important. How long are you going to keep that money invested? Especially in the industry of mutual fund and share market, the uninformed guys try to come into this market and think that, okay, he will invest some amount here and maybe within a month, 2 months, 6 months down the line, it will be double or triple, and then he'll walk out. This is not a place for gambling. Risk appetite is also very important. Some people are very comfortable to putting up their money in fixed deposits. Nothing wrong about fixed deposits per se. But then you all know, as compared to inflation, when you cater for inflation, when you cater for your taxations, fixed deposits are actually giving you negative returns. It's eroding value. Then somebody has got a risk appetite, he feels comfortable, yes, you can't do it. Involvement, individual's involvement or wealth advisor or the financial advisor's involvement in your investment is very important to influence the income level. Some people may think that they are going to do it themselves. Yes, if they can be with their investments, very good. Otherwise, there may be an effect on the overall return. The rate of return, of course, one person invests in a fixed income of 8%, somebody goes for 15%. So rate of return would certainly, it's a mathematical calculation, it will be inflation, yes. Because if you've seen, I was showing you a slide, all those incomes are inflation adjusted. If the inflation goes up, inflation adjusted return may come down. So while in the mutual fund, it may still remain the same because the formula is inflation plus GDP. So if inflation is 7%, probably we'll talk about 15%. Geopolitical situation. There's a lot of halla gulla about Middle East. Something is happening. There's some other Europe, Eastern Europe also there disturbance. Neighborhood also there's some disturbance. So these kind of a geopolitical situation may influence the income level. There was some reports at the beginning of the year, and certain company shares they plummeted. They were nobody knew what will happen. People may have suffered losses, and there it has come back. So all this kind of a situation do happen. We all know when the election results happen, what kind of a roller coaster rides we had gone through, and the power of compounding. So you keep it for a longer duration, the power of compounding plays and gives you the much higher return or much acceptable returns from any of your investments. While we talk about investments, most of the time what happens is we try and ignore, knowingly or unknowingly, is your risk associated with it. Mutual funds or anything, all investments are subject to risk. So the risk management has to be catered for your retirement planning or investment planning. Now, when we talk about risk management, we are basically talking about insurance, right? Why insurance is important in retirement planning? One is we all know that longevity risk is a significant concern nowadays. I mean, your expected age is going up. It used to be 60s. Now it is, I think, mid 70s. As we grow old, it is going. There may be liabilities, there may be loans, there may be some other risks for which you may need to take an insurance, whether it is a medical liabilities or anything. And we have Mr. Amarjit coming up later. Estate planning is one which I always feel can be taken care of by even doing a proper insurance. He will, I think, cover it up in greater details. I will skip this. It is a term insurance. I think he will be covering it up, so we'll leave it here. When you have a portfolio you already thought of, you already worked out what are your requirements. Now you have decided how much you have to invest, you invested, you understood what are the income considerations, how you should do. Now comes to how do you manage. There's a post-retirement portfolio about whatever be the amount, corpus, how are you planning to manage? So there are some basic tips. One is we all know the three rules which I said earlier, that is income generation, corpus protection and corpus growth. These are the three thumb rule which one has to remember. And Mr. Warren Buffett said two more rules from his side was that never lose money, which is basically trying to say corpus protection. That is for him is the first rule, and the second rule is follow the first rule, that is don't forget the first rule. Having said that, you must understand what are the basic safeguards. The basic safeguards, the center point is one must invest for long term. There's a market for long term investment. You must pay attention to the valuations. Just because somebody bought an asset for say 100 rupees and it has become 1000 rupees today, it may not make any sense for me to buy that asset at 10,000 rupees and expect it to go to 10,000. So I need to understand that valuation gimmick. Second is we need to calculate the real return. There is a period which was of high inflation period. We have to understand that what is the real return. The return may be high in absolute term, but if you adjust it with the inflation, it may actually appear to be as good an investment as any other. As I said, we will not follow any trends but blindly, that just because somebody is doing it, so I also do it. I feel it should not be done. And second, the last is diversify the risk. Don't put all the eggs in one basket. It's a very common and well understood concept. Investing can be done by yourself. I mean, you don't need if I tell you that you only need somebody's support for investing, no, it can be done. All you need to do is, as I already told you, set a goal, research where you want to invest. Now in the process you may have to seek somebody's opinion, maybe a crowdsourced opinion, which is generally seen in the lot of in various WhatsApp groups, there are various social media posts advising or seeking advice as to what to do, when to do, how to do. Or some close family, some close friends decide which fund to be invested in. Invest there. Now once you invest, you need to track the performance because the involvement has to be there. Now once you start tracking, everything is going good, everything is tick. What happens is you find you had invested 100 rupees, it has become 150 rupees. What do? Most of the time, the people, I mean, this is out of my experience, I'm telling you, people tend to liquidate their investment. because the moment it goes beyond what they were thinking, because their thinking is, their research is not a research which is somebody who is a professional research. This is on a various small inputs. Somebody says buys XYZ stock, it will touch 100. So this guy buys it at 90, it touches 100, and now he thinks he must sell it off. He sells it off. Now this XYZ stock goes to 765. He never buys it again because he thinks, no, I sold it off 100, so it will have to come down to my level, then only I'll buy it. Or other way around. Somebody buys it at 90, knows that somebody, a tip was given, it will go to 100, it goes to 95 and comes down to 70. He holds on to it, it will go to 100. It never goes to 100. So that is where you have to ponder on your investment. What should you do? Whether you should exit or you should not exit. There's a research on the subject. It says around 75% of investors, they have generally taken a wrong direction. And we all know that when we are driving in the traffic, whichever lane which we are in seems the slowest moving lane. And there are people who change over and then they find the lane which they are in is the slowest moving lane. So having said that, what happens is the next step is once you will start researching again. So again, another slide is there are just some few data thrown on you. There are 44 asset management companies in India and around 2,500 some odd, 565 or 575 mutual fund schemes are available. There are 57 insurance companies which are available in India, which out of which 24 life insurance, 33 non-life or general insurance. So this wide array of funds, it makes it difficult for investors to choose the best scheme for them. That is why you have the investment advisors. And let me forewarn you, the bank staff which the moment the fund comes into your bank account, the bank staff which has got access to your bank account and status of funds available, and they approach you for investment, they are not guiding you for investment. They're only selling you a product. I've seen people investing through them, and I've also seen these bank staffs, and they change banks from ICICI to Axis. And it goes to Axis, goes back to the same investor and says, sir, you withdraw it from there and put it here. And people do it. Another thing is an online platform. Nowadays, it's a very fantastic resource available to any of those investors who want to do it all by themselves. It's an online platform. I call it as a financial bazaar, mela or a market. The investment stalls. Just imagine, you're going to some market wherein you've got small stalls. As investment stalls are available there. Every information is available. All the data is thrown at you. It's very convenient, accessible, 24/7. Mid of the night, you want to, maybe you've got an idea to invest somewhere, the utility is available to you. It makes you, lets you make transactions in a very few clicks, very few clicks. In fact, mobile phones, those apps which have come, they are even faster. But then before doing it, we must ask question, is this customized to your requirements? Do we understand what I said, how to work out your requirement? Does that investment solution provide you that kind of a customization, which can take care of your unique financial appetite? Because each individual's requirement may be different. I may go and buy one particular fund, which is an investment, it may give you a return, but does it work it out the way I want it to work it? So having said that, there's a one way doing it by yourself. Second is, you have I call it a wealth partner, whether you call it an investment advisor or whatever. He does a comprehensive financial planning for you. There's no emotional or reckless mistakes which is made. The financial advisors or wealth partners, they understand the market. So when they understand the market, they also know how it will behave, and those mistakes do not happen, which generally happen on those reaction on those crowdsourced information. The basic fundas are taken care of, like the whether diversification, risk management, etc. And the investment is a solution based investment. It is tailored on the requirements. So it is not that your money is invested just like that. Your requirements are understood, and the bouquet which is made is based on those requirements, and then the solution is provided. Remember, the stock market is a manic depressive, and a lot of people who lose out money there. Your wealth partner, after customized investment portfolio, offers advice in unpredictable financial markets. Probably when what happened on 4th of June or what happened post various scams and various market conditions, COVID, etc. You won't call up those those apps and ask them, okay, what will happen now? What do I do? There will be some crowdsourced information available again. Wealth partner helps rebalance your investment. They will tell you, boss, this is what is the situation now, and this is how we have to do it to ensure that there's a constant growth. You may call them your financial friend, guide, storyteller, whatever. But then he is there with you when there's a requirement. What counts for most people in investing is not how much they know, That is where we actually tend to err. We must understand that how realistic we realize that what they do not know. This much information we have, somebody will have more, somebody will have more, but understanding is what they do not know is very important when we are dwelling in this market individually. This I will come back to Warren Buffett because everybody knows him as an investor or as a guide. Now he invests. Not many people may know him. No suspense, but I will tell you his name is Benjamin Graham. He was the financial advisor to Warren Buffett, or he was his coach or guide, philosopher, whatever. He's written a lot of books. If we talk about a term called as value investing, Benjamin Graham was the author of that book, okay, which Warren Buffett followed, and his current net worth is estimated to be around $132 billion. And let me tell you, this is where power of compounding, which we keep saying, and I think it was told by Edison or some scientist, that's the eighth wonder of the world. 99% of Warren Buffett's net worth was accumulated after the age of 65, though he started investing at the age of some 13, 14, 15 years of age. But then compounding effect took place much later. With this, I will end my session today. And I'll say price is what you pay, value is what you get. This is what Warren Buffett had said with reference to value investing. And I think we will take questions only at the end, Vipul.
That's right, sir.
Yeah.